Echoes Hue. Audio Productions. Smooth, sweet sounds. Echoes Hue Audio Productions proudly presents a J.S. Mensah audio work.
Hi everybody, and welcome to my brand new podcast, Would You Adam and Eve It, with me, Del McCamley. Keep up to date with content from Echoes Hue Audio Productions by following us on TikTok, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to follow, like and comment. In the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be talking about issues that affect us all on a national, local and global level. As the famous Blues Brothers once said, issues that affect you, me, them, everybody. Because everybody needs somebody. Somebody to love, miss and kiss and keep you all clued up as just what the hell is going on out there. Because if I don't tell you, then nobody will. Definitely not any of our competitors. So sit back, kick back, relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, glass of whiskey, glass of vodka. Oh, glass of whiskey, glass of vodka? What the hell? Who starts drinking at this time of the day? What? My producer just said everybody. No, man, that's not true. Not everybody. Anyway, just relax and know that Del is going to get in there and wiggle and jiggle out the workings of just what the heck is going on in that jolly game we call life. You know it makes sense. So stick with me. I'll put you right. Okay, time to move on to another subject. Now, when I thought about this next topic of conversation, I didn't really know where to go with it. But it's a subject that's very real, very cumulative, and potentially very disconcerting. When I first told my wife I was going to be broaching this particular theme, she pulled her face, looked at me and said, I don't think it's a subject that I'd particularly like to listen to in a podcast. I don't find it that interesting. Was she right? I wondered if I was going to miss the mark of this one. But then I started to really think about it, to tussle with it in my mind, to fret over whether it was an issue that really warranted any type of discussion. After all, it wasn't something that fazed me, something that agitated me or troubled me. And then I thought, not yet anyway. I'm talking about artificial intelligence, or, as it's commonly branded, AI. What's interesting is, in a 1993 essay, the science fiction author Vernor Vinge warned us that within 30 years we will have the technological means to create superhuman intelligence. He went on to say that such a thing would be like the rise of human life on Earth. What Vinge is talking about, folks, is AI developing into what we might call sentient beings. In layman's terms, that's a machine that can think and act the same way a human does. Think about that for a second. Does that slightly worry you? My producer's saying it worries him. In the world of AI development, there's two camps. Okay, so there's two ways of looking at this. So there's the accelerationists, those that see AI as a good thing for the advancement of humankind. Opposing them are what's called the doomers. These are the opposite, that think AI will eventually wipe us all out, spell the end for us, we're all gone, goodbye. Sorry to say, folks, I think I fall into the latter category. So why am I a doomer? Well, for a start, I don't buy into the accelerationist view that any form of AI is infallible and foolproof. When somebody tells me that, I think of Fujitsu and the Horizon software. Come on, let's face it. In fact, I think that someone recently used the word robust to me when describing how AI works and how it could never fail. That sent shivers down my spine, I got to tell you. So, should we be worried about the almost runaway advances in AI? Should we all sprint for the hills and caves, if we can find any, hysterically screaming, terrorised by some dystopian scenario where hordes of buzzing adamantine robots, chasers and superintelligent drones hiss over our heads, chucking out death rays? I mean, we've all seen what a sulky hacked-off robot can do, right? We all remember HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? We all saw that warped little tow rag losing its cool and wasting all those astronauts and then going off its trolley at the end of the movie while it sang flipping Daisy Bell. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer true. Anyone out there doesn't know what I'm talking about? Check out the movie. It's a classic. Do you want that from your new state-of-the-art toaster? Do you want that doing that first thing in the morning? Flinging out slices of burnt, spiky bread at you while you sip your tea and coffee and belting out a pop number? Or what about your brand new technically advanced microwave suddenly deciding it doesn't like the sprinkles you put on your porridge as you shoved it in and hit the number 2-minute button and decide it's going to blow its bloody doors off? Believe it or not, there's actually an AI code of ethics covering everything regarding the future use of AI. I'm not making this up. This involves everything from legal issues when something goes wrong, that's reassuring, to the potential negative impacts of using AI, which covers, believe it or not, adverse automatons and focuses on paying attention to potential threats. I'm sorry, and correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't a published code of ethics and the words adverse and potential threats fire off alarm bells? Or is it just me? They may be thinking infrastructure and the deployment of fake news, but I can't help thinking hefty robots wearing leather jackets and Ray-Bans, flicking sawn-off shotguns like yo-yos, burning rubber down the middle of the A406 and all coming for me. Okay, maybe not the A406 because it's always gridlocked. Maybe the M25 then. No, hang on. Well, down the street near you anyway. Just to alleviate my stress, the AI Code of Ethics also talks about an explainable AI system that works well across all spectra of society. What the heck does that even mean? Are we supposed to be reassured by this glutted piece of wordplay that it's okay? That so far, fingers crossed, they haven't invented anything yet that's going to be unexplainable and that it hasn't shown any signs of screwing up our way of life as far as they know? Jason Shepherd, CEO of Nubix, a leading software and progressive web app company, is quoted as saying, "It may be decades before more sentient AI is beginning to emerge that can automate their own unethical behaviour at a scale that humans wouldn't be able to keep up with." So they know it's going to happen and they're still doing it. What the hell? What about a working, moving robot that can eventually work things out for itself? How would that rock your boat? Far-fetched? You reckon? Elon Musk has been working on such a thing since 2022. Tesla have designed and built a humanoid robot called the Optimus Gen 2. A humanoid robot is a robot that can do the same thing as a human does, only better. According to news from Tesla, the first of these robots was developed in September 2022. Called Bumblebee, I'm presuming after the ballsy, lovable robot in Transformers, this prototype could only walk at a slow pace and do nothing more strenuous or alarming than giving a little wave. It was also restricted in its movements and had no balance. Phew, thank God for that. Fast forward to March 2023 and Tesla's brain boffins, after slogging their toshes off, came up with Optimus Gen 1. This little baby weighed 7.5 kilograms and could move about 5 miles per hour. 5 miles per hour? Even if you run, you're going to eventually get tired. This thing ain't. It's going to catch you. If that wasn't bad enough, that was the March 2023 model. In December 2023, the boffins at the Musk factory excelled themselves, romping forward with yet another refined class of mechanised madness called Optimus Gen 3. This rascally devil has been given a proper revamp, including added dexterity and range of motion, and is 30% faster than its forerunner. No pun intended. The Optimus Gen 3 comes with a swivelling head so it can see all around it. It has something called a bot brain, complete with Tesla's Dojo supercomputer, giving it the capacity to, and I quote, manipulate the near environment and make sense of its surroundings. Manipulate the environment? Again, I ask you, what the hell does that even mean? Tesla have indicated that they're going to put these things to work in the healthcare industry. What happens if some poor patient is moaning a bit too loudly, as people tend to do in hospitals? Let's face it, you're not there because you want to enjoy it. It's not a holiday camp. And they start moaning, or some luckless bedridden sufferer slurps their ice cream the wrong way during mealtimes. Would this thing that's working in the healthcare industry lose the plot and decide to manipulate the environment in such a way as to take out the problem? Optimus Gen 3 also comes equipped with head cameras, sensors and self-piloting software, which allows it to track locations of potential obstacles. That could possibly include anyone trying to get in its way if it decides it's had enough of taking orders and becomes electronically enraged. The finger placements of Optimus Gen 3 give it the ability to relay data on how much pressure to exert when holding or gripping things, just like a human's. This means it can hold an egg without cracking it, but could also implement enough force to break bones. This thing can also dance, busting moves to whatever music or songs it hears. What about This Is the End by The Doors or Bad Mood Rising by Creedence Clearwater? How about that for a couple of tunes? The most disconcerting piece of news coming out of this is the fact that Optimus Gen 3 uses the same AI software as a Tesla automated car. These bits of kits include the shared vision algorithms that aid the robot to see and understand what's going on around it. Hang on, didn't an automated, not a Tesla car, but an automated car malfunction once, resulting in a fatality? My point here is this: machines can malfunction. It happens all the time. Which brings me neatly back to one of my original frames of reference, where I quoted from the AI Code of Ethics, talking about adverse automations and paying close attention to potential threats. Oh, you'll get all the advocates for the augmentation and virtues of AI that will harp on about potential threats signifying things like data protection and cybersecurity. But I think if we're going to give the arguments and rationalizations towards the very real application of AI in the form of robots some credence, then we've also got to view it from the perspective that, as I said before, machines do malfunction. And if you've got something that can possibly be harnessed, enhanced and ripened into something that mirrors a human being, then you've also got to put into place prerequisites for tackling what to do when it all goes pear-shaped. Am I right? Does that make sense? In February 2015, the American engineering company Boston Dynamics produced a new dog called Spot, a robot dog. This cutie had 4 legs, was yellow and could meander through corridors, slog up the toughest hills and not budge an inch when given a good hard kick. Well, that's reassuring. Spot became available to buy for anyone with enough dosh in their pockets at a mere $74,000. That's £53,000, give or take a few quid. The only stipulation that it had to be a commercial company and not an individual person that bought it. Since then, Spot has been seen working in restaurants, factories and bars. Bars? In Seville, one Abel Ross Lyo was sitting in a bar with a mate when Spot ambled past carrying pints of beer on its back. Lyo said that he started to laugh. In Los Angeles, a 32-year-old student named Geneva saw a Spot robot walking down a street where she lived. She was reported to have commented, "They're bigger and more powerful looking than I thought, and it's weird to see something non-alive move autonomously through my neighbourhood." I mean, what the hell was this thing doing on its own, walking through someone's neighbourhood? In February 2021, the NYPD took one of these things to a crime scene in the Bronx. This prompted Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to call them robotic surveillance ground drones, and was dismayed when they were sent in to target, as she was quoted as saying, low-income communities of colour. Even more disturbing was the fact that these things were able to be fitted with paintball guns. I don't know if anyone out has ever been thwacked by a paintball, but let me tell you, it bleeding hurts. Where does that end? What happens when someone gets the bright idea of fitting these things with Colt AR-15 assault rifles, or if they become adept at killing all by themselves? Anyone ever seen a Black Mirror episode called Metalhead? These metallic monsters with 4 legs killing people at the end of civilization? Michael Perry, the Vice President of Business Development at Boston Dynamics, has tried to quash our fears. After being questioned about Spot being utilised by the NYPD, he stressed that it's not an attack dog, but instead a tool used to access potential hazard situations before human officers are sent into a scene. Perry also stressed that if Spot is used to physically harm someone, that would trigger a violation of the company's terms and conditions, which would lead to punitive measures. If that's the case, perhaps he'd like to explain how Boston Dynamics has been funded by the United States Department of Defense? Oscar Schwartz, a tech researcher and reporter for The Guardian, has ruled out any of the Boston Dynamic robot dogs heralding an apocalyptic extinction of us as a species. But what he does go on to tell us is we should be worried about a private company making agile, powerful, autonomous machines. So there is a threat then, just not from one particular company, even though it's a company funded by the Defense Department. By the way, anyone else even slightly concerned over the fact that the US National Security Agency has decided to call their communications data and machine learning system Skynet? By the way, if you think you might be safe behind closed doors from one of these things, then think again. In November 2017, Boston Dynamics came out with a newer version of Spot called Spot Mini. It freaked everyone out by walking up to the guy recording it and looking straight into the camera. Smile! And if that weren't bad enough, there was more to come. These things can open doors. Boston Dynamics Spot Mini has been recorded opening a door with a retractable arm that extends outwards from the top part of its body for another Spot Dog robot without being programmed to do so. Let me emphasise that. It figured out that it had to open the door all by itself. In another instance, a human tried to stop a Boston Dynamics dog from leaving a room. Spot Mini completely ignored commands and opened the door anyway. Even though the guy didn't try too hard, there was no way this metallic dude was going to stop for him. If a robot suddenly becomes determined it's going to do its own thing, that spells bad blooming news for all of us. According to the Guardian newspaper last year, there was a simulated test with the US military involving an AI drone, where the drone decided it was going to do its own thing. What basically happened was they did this test in a military base. The problem started when an AI drone was programmed to target a simulation of a rival defence system and would get points by killing the threat posed to it by the enemy. As the test proceeded, the operator of the drone gave it orders that contradicted its main encoded objective. And so the drone decided to kill the operator, seeing the operator as a threat to it attaining the points it was programmed to gain. So therefore, it was told to do this thing, take out any threat to achieving its mission. The operator tried to tell it to do something, and it took the operator out and perceived it as a threat. Colonel Tucker Sinkhole Hamilton, the Chief of AI Test and Operations with the US Air Force, during the Future Combat Air and Space Capabilities Summit in London last May, told a blog post that the system started realising that while they did identify the threat, at times the human operator would tell it not to kill that threat. So what did it do? It killed the operator. It killed the operator because the person that was keeping it from accomplishing its objective was the operator. Hamilton went on to say, we train the system. Hey, don't kill the operator. That's bad. You're going to lose points if you do that. So what does it start doing? It starts destroying the communications tower that the operator uses to communicate with the drone to stop it from killing the target. Hamilton also stressed that no real person was harmed. A US Air Force spokesperson, Anne Stefanak, has denied that such a thing took place, adding that it appears the colonel's comments were taken out of context and were meant to be anecdotal. The Royal Aeronautical Society, who hosted the conference, and the US Air Force failed to respond to questions from The Guardian. Colonel Hamilton, when interviewed by Defence IQ last year, said, AI is not nice to have. AI is not a fad. AI is forever changing our society and our military. But if you think I'm being all doom and gloom on this AI thing, it's not all bad news. There's been great advances being made by AI recently, especially in the battle against disinformation, with Fatma, a chatbot designed to invalidate fake news. It works on a human-vetted database and the AI of ChatGPT-4, offering conversational-sounding factual responses to post in a family WhatsApp thread to resist any forms of such abuse. Other things include huge breakthroughs in the medical field, including promotion of surgical technologies and producing antibiotic treatments throughout the world. So forgive me if you think I'm being a doomsayer where robots are concerned, but hey, I'll leave you with this one thought. Maybe if your surname's Connor, it might be wise in future not to call any newborn daughters Sarah. I've been Del McCamley, and this has been Would You Adam and Eve It? Don't be shy. Tune in for next time. See ya!
Thanks for listening to an Echoes Hue audio productions project. Smooth, sweet sounds. Keep up to date with content from Echoes Hue Audio Productions by following us on TikTok, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to follow, like and comment. Would You Adam and Eve It is written and presented by Del McCamley. The podcast is directed and produced by J.S. Mensah. Our theme music is by Oleg Mazur.